This is the resistance band roll that I purchased from Amazon, less than $40. It's a 25-yard roll, enough to make bands for the entire 9-year-old baseball team. I'm going to show you what you can do with these at home for your power and your strength training. I've tied a knot in the loose end and we're going to attach it to the door. So attach the knotted end into the door at about hip level. Then what you're gonna do is standing broad jumps. Start off with the band around your hips, sort of taut, and then what you're gonna do is jump forward. I started off easy with smaller jumps, and as you get used to it, you can make those jumps bigger. We want to train power for the legs, the glutes, and the hips to increase our bone strength and reduce risk of injury. Next is a resisted sprint with high knees. You're gonna set a timer for 20 to 30 seconds, and then you're gonna sprint against the band. High knees, drive those arms forward. Make sure they're driving forward and back in a straight line, keeping your core in tight. You're gonna give it about 95% for 20 to 30 seconds. Drive those knees forward, core in tight, and then rest. So now we're gonna switch the knot to the middle of the band. So you have two loose ends. You're gonna attach it in the door about eye level, and we're gonna do something called face pulls. What this is gonna do is strengthen the muscles in our upper back to help our posture, to kind of correct those forward slumping shoulders and a head that juts forward. What you want to do is imagine you're an air traffic controller, so thumbs need to be pointed back and up. It's important that your thumbs point back and up. You're going to go slowly on the way up, slowly on the way back. Your ending position is going to be sort of a flex bicep pose. Keep your shoulders down, away from the ears. Keep your core in tight. Focus on good form. For the number of repetitions, you're gonna do enough repetitions until you feel the muscle burn. Then you're gonna crank out about 3 to 5 more. If this resistance is too easy, just go ahead and move your hand up closer on the band. Next is a single arm lateral pull down. Go ahead and attach the band higher up on the door. If you wanna modify, say you have a sprained finger, you can go ahead and wrap that band around your wrist, taking your finger grip out of the equation. Make sure you're squeezing your shoulder blades at that end position. Go ahead and squeeze and pause. Keep the shoulders pulled down away from the ears. Keep that core in nice and tight. Next, we're gonna do a single arm row. You can adjust the height of where the band sits just to hit your lats at slightly different angles. Go ahead and do a staggered stance, a slight bend at the waist. Keep your core in tight. Remember to squeeze and pause that shoulder blade at the top. If the resistance is too easy, go ahead and move your arm up on the band. Do as many reps till it burns and crank out about 3 to 5 more. Moving on to the clamshells, I cut the resistance band to have a smaller circumference. So think about putting your knees together and the circumference sort of being that with your knees together. I folded it in half lengthwise to increase the tension. We're gonna start with the band above your knees. Now, if you need to make it more difficult, you can put the band below your knees. The further you put the band down your leg, the harder it's going to be. You want to make sure you stack your hips. Don't let your hips rock backwards. Make sure the top hip is stacked directly over the lower hip. You're going to keep your ankles together and you're going to push your knee up and out against the band. Press on that glute to sort of wake it up. Keep your core in tight. The number of repetitions, again, we're going to repetition until it burns and then do about 3 to 5 more. If you can do over 20 reps, you're going to need to make it a little harder. So make your band circumference smaller or move the band to below your knee. Up our lateral walks. If you don't have a lot of space, what you can do is just take one step to the right and one step to the left. The other option is to do an entire walk across the room. I have a band above and below my knees to make the tension a little harder. You can play around, start off with one band, put it above your knee or below your knee. If you want to make it a little harder, again, the lower your band goes down your leg, the harder it's going to be. Most important thing about this exercise is to make sure your knees are consistently driving out against the band. You don't want your knees to cave in. What we're doing is strengthening the hip and glute medius.